Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breeze. Breezeway Productions The Breeze, bringing you the latest in independent films and film festival news. And we're continuing our coverage of this year's Tribeca Film Festival, the 2023 edition, with director-writer Shane Atkinson to talk about his film, LaRoy. How are you, Shane?
Hi, good. Thanks for having me.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. The one film that I was able to see in the theater this year was LaRoy. I very much enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to talking about it. So, in your own words, can you tell me what LaRoy is about?
I've been working on this long enough. I should be able to do that pretty easily. We'll see. Um, it's kind of about down on his luck guy in a small town in West Texas who finds out that his wife is cheating on him, and he decides he's going to end his own life. But before he can do the deed, he gets mistaken as kind of a low rent hired killer. And because he's got nothing else going for him, he decides that he's just going to play along and see what happens. And it doesn't go very well for him. Turns out he's not very good at it. So the movie is him kind of just getting in over his head and trying to figure out what's going on and get himself out of this situation.
Yeah, I think that the actor that played the main character really did a great job. John Magaro was one of the people that was involved, but the main character was played by Junior is his brother. I'm just looking through the cast list right now. What was the actor's name who played the lead?
Well, our leads were John Magaro and
It was
Steve
John.
Zahn. Yeah, yes.
Okay, so yeah, John did a great job. He was very, very like a wimpy character. Everybody was walking all over him, and then he was running the hardware store with his family. So I really got into the story itself. And then I know that we're talking also about a town that's in the middle of nowhere, a small town. Tell me about the town LaRoy. That's a real town that you found or knew about?
Um, it's a fictional town. I wanted to do the fictional town. I have a lot of family in small Western towns and wanted to do something in that setting because I find small towns just great for stories. I feel like in a small town, you can do a lot with a little. A little bit of money goes a long way in a small town. Somebody's reputation is very important in a small town.
Mhm.
This story is kind of a small story set in a small place, but it goes to kind of extreme lengths. I feel I'm in New York right now for the premiere, and the story just wouldn't work in a place like New York City. It's just sort of a drop in the bucket. But in a small town, a little bit of drop can create big waves. So I wanted to set it in a small town. But it's not a real town. It's a fictional town. Actually, my original title was Leroy,
Hmm.
Leroy, but it turns out there is a Leroy, Texas.
Oh.
So I summoned all my powers of creativity and I changed one letter and called it Leroy. So yeah.
Well, it was interesting to learn about the town, and you have a lot of colorful characters that are involved in this, like Dylan Baker, who plays Harry. He's a an assassin or a killer, so to say. I thought it was pretty interesting, of how he came across so creepy. Is that naturally how he was, or did you give him some pointers on how to be really intimidating and creepy at the same time?
Yeah, so Dylan's our third lead and he's phenomenal in the film. And no, he's like he's just like a really nice, very, very pleasant, extremely lovely to work with guy. And I wanted somebody who could do both those things because he comes across as a bit of a fuddy-duddy, is just sort of a nice, friendly, in over his head guy who doesn't really know what's going on. But then, of course, he has this switch and this other side to them. So it was important that he had this facade of somebody that you wouldn't take very seriously or you might just look past. You wouldn't perceive as a threat, but then he can do that other thing really well too. So he's so good at just playing the one thing and then he's able to flip that switch and there's something far more sinister underneath. So he was just phenomenal. We got really lucky that we got him. But no, he's lovely in real life.
That's nice. That's nice to hear. I think that he did a wonderful job, definitely a strong performance. And you also have Steve Zahn involved in this as Skip. What a funny character. What a guy. Private detective, really, but not really, but kind of, with a fun relationship that he has with John Magaro. So tell me about Steve, his performance, the amazing wardrobe that he has the entire time, and his involvement in LaRoy.
Yeah, John and Steve, I think we're very happy because they don't have any wardrobe changes in the movie. They both have their different versions of what their uniforms are, and they get to wear it the entire movie. So I think it was pretty easy for them. Um, uh, but yeah, they were great. So John we cast first, and then the heart of the movie is the relationship between these two characters, Ray and Skip. And so it was really important that we found somebody that would pair well with John and would bring this opposing energy to them, because this sort of it's a bit of the movie kind of weaves in and out of genres, and in some ways it's almost a romantic comedy between these two sort of would-be friends. And so that pairing, not just finding somebody great to play Skip, but finding somebody who would pair with Ray really well was really important. And we were thinking about different people, and my wife actually is the one that suggested Steve, and immediately it was just made perfect sense. And so we reached out to him, and thankfully he was into it, and he did a terrific job.
Yeah, I really love overall just the cast of characters. The people have such interesting personalities. Like Matthew Del Negro, who plays Junior, who's his brother, who's like the strong, leader of the family. Brad Leland, who plays Adam Ledoux, who's got the car service thing. And each of them are so colorful. I know that you wrote this as well. How did you create the characters all together? They all seem like they have a lot of depth and that they are really interesting all together. Did you take a lot of time on each character individually?
Yeah, for sure. It's a I guess as a filmmaker, you want the best people for your project, but especially with a comedy, even if a supporting character just comes in for one or two scenes, it just dies if you don't have someone who can deliver on that material. And so it was really important that we found the right people to play these parts, and the entire ensemble cast is just terrific. I mean, there's a lot of scene stealing going on throughout the film. There's a lot of people who come in for maybe just a few scenes here or there and just steal the show. So we got really lucky with our supporting cast. The entire ensemble is really, really terrific. But yeah, I just, I, I think the characters are in some way all an extension of myself. A lot of them are, no one's based on anybody, but inspired by people who I've encountered in some of these towns and in my life. And yeah, just trying to entertain myself, I think, writing, and then thankfully finding fantastic people to bring them to life.
Well, the movie is a super fun watch. I really enjoyed it. And like you said, there's a lot of scene stealing. And if every actor steals the scenes that they do, a compilation of scene stealing makes for a really great movie of just wonderful performance by everybody. So I give you 2 thumbs up. And I know that there is going to be one more screening at the Tribeca Film Festival. Do you know when that's going to be?
Yes, that's Saturday, 8:30 p.m.
Okay, wonderful. Well, so we will put a link below to the tickets for that, so people are interested in checking it out. I think that the film was wonderful, so everyone should go and check it out. The Tribeca Film Festival. The film is LaRoy, and we have director-writer Shane Atkinson here with us. And I thank you for spending the time on the Breeze to talk about LaRoy.
Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate you having me.